Hello, and welcome to Snackable Webinars, bite-sized for the time-starved professional. I'm happy to have you here today. My name is Maria, and I am going to talk to you about social media strategy. I don't really need a strategy, right? Well, yes, you do. And here's why. A lot of businesses charge ahead without even having a clear strategy. They're posting material that doesn't interest their audience. It creates no concrete marketing benefits. They're just posting things out to the masses. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. So if you had a strategy, you will be engaging with social media and you'll be meeting your goals, which would really be a helpful thing for you to do because goals and objectives they guide your strategy. Overall, if you're not doing something with a goal, you're really just making and adding to the noise that's out there. And you don't want to be put in that light. So you're wasting your time. So there are 8 simple steps to get started. And at the end of this, you can download my one-page cheat sheet, which I put on my website, which puts all of these templates and all of these slides together onto one sheet that you can download, and they're all there on one page. The first one is to identify your business goals. What's your company's overall needs? What do you want social media to do to help you reach them? That could be increasing brand awareness. It could be getting the word out better about your organization. It could be retaining customers, the ones that you have happy because it costs a lot more money to get those customers. But if you already have them, it's even better. Maybe you want to reduce your marketing spend and really put your money where your mouth is. Really put it where it's a place where it can be measured and you'll have great value and feedback. You want to make sure that you set your goals and objectives because, and what I mean by that is to choose 2 primary goals and 2 secondary goals. You don't want to have 5 or 6, just have 2 of each. It makes it a lot easier, and then it's easier to think when it's in smaller numbers. If you kind of put things down a little bit in the sense that keeps your numbers down, look at 2. It doesn't have to be overly complicated by having 10. Example of this is maybe you just want to generate leads and sales. Simple as that. Number 2, set your marketing objectives. And that is have a specific parameter that defines each goal. It could be how many sales and leads are needed for success. Because marketing is aligned to your business goals, the slide earlier. The 2 go hand in hand. Marketing is going to help you achieve your business goals. So you really need to break things down by taking a really smart approach. So make your objectives specific, make them measurable, make them achievable, and relevant and time bound. That's a pretty much an industry tactic right there to take the smart approach to everything that you do. You need to choose which analytics and tracking tools you're going to use because if you're going to be doing all of these things, you need to really have a good, reliable method of how you're going to be tracking and reporting on everything. Make sure it's reliable. It could be how many phone calls you're going to receive, how many people are going to sign up for your e-newsletter, how many people are going to go to a section of the website and purchase a widget that you have on sale that week. You really want to make sure that you have reliable, good tools. Could be web analytics, it could be your landing page, or it could be Facebook. Make sure you identify them. Choose objectives you can achieve. You don't want to be going there where you're saying we want to have 1,000 new e-newsletter signups within the next 3 weeks. That's a really tough thing to do. So you really want to make sure that you are setting your goals that are achievable, they're reasonable, they're not too far out there because you're just going to put a lot of pressure on yourself. And it's not going to really make you look all that good either if you're kind of being unreasonable in that sense by setting yourself up for potential failure. Set a timeline and a deadline. Maybe you want to do it, you want to report on some things quarterly. Maybe you want to keep on top of things monthly or every 6 months. Set a timeline and a deadline to have certain things accomplished, especially if you have a product promo that is coming up in the next few months where you're launching a new product. You want to maybe 3 weeks beforehand put some promos out there about it, let people know that it's coming. So make sure you have some deadlines and a timeline set in advance. Identify your ideal customers. Buyer personas are so important. I cannot stress that enough. It's even sketching on a piece of paper what they could look like. It even is giving them a fictional name. But if you work in a store, if you work for an organization, you pretty much have a good idea of what your ideal customer looks like, how they behave, where they shop, what they're doing at home, what they're doing in their pastime, what restaurants they're eating at, where they're buying their clothes, all of those things. You may want to write them all down on a piece of paper, even with a fictional picture of somebody. Give that person a name, give them an age, what kind of car they drive, everything. The more you know about your buyer or your ideal customer, the better. Because then you'll be able to target them in the right places, you'll talk to them at the right times, and with the right messages. The more you know about them, the easier and the cheaper it is to target them. Then you're not wasting your money trying to figure out where they are, yet you already have a good understanding of where they are. Research your competition. And another angle of that is if you are inspired by another place that sells a similar product or is offering a service that is similar to yours that's out of your market, have a look at them as well. They're not really a competition, but they're more or less your peer. So compile a list of 3 to 4 competitors that you want to really have a good look at. And what you're going to be looking at is on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, which one are they using? What times of the day do they post? What are they posting? Is it promotional? Is it video? Is it how-to tips? Have a look at their engagement levels with their audience. How are they talking to them? What kind of tone? What kind of reaction are they getting from people? That will be really helpful to you. Number 5, choose channels and tactics. Determine which platform is best based on the persona. You're going to be looking at somebody, if they're 65 plus, they're going to be at a different social media place than somebody who is 25 plus. So determine which platform you're going to be using it based on your ideal customer. Know which primary and secondary network to focus on. As I mentioned in the best practices, you don't need to be on every social media network out there. Choose 1 or 2 and nail it. Your approach relies on your goals and objectives. Naturally, you want to make sure that everything you're doing, everything you're saying, is all aligned with your overall goals and what you want to achieve, and also following the best practices. And that is a few webinars ago where I talked about best practices. You want to have a little bit of a refresher, have a listen to that again. If Facebook is the primary network, go a little further. Maybe invest in Facebook ads. If Twitter is where they're at, look at some promotional posts on Twitter. Really make sure that is where your concentration focus is going to be. Now you're going to have your goals and objectives that are aligned with your business goals. You really want to bring everything together with a really awesome content strategy. So there are 3 main components that I want to talk to you about. You want to talk about the type of content. Do you want to be funny, serious? Do you want to be educational? Do you want to be something else? You choose depending on your industry and the type of people who you want to target. If you're talking to teachers, if you're talking to professors, tailor your approach depending on your personas that you're targeting. The time of posting is important. Test that out to see where they are. Maybe the mornings might be better than the evenings. Maybe the weekends might be better than a Wednesday afternoon. You don't know until you try it. There's no harm in that. Look at the frequency of your posting. Make sure you're not posting too much because then people will unfollow you. Make sure you're not doing it too little because people might lose interest and you won't be top of mind to anybody. Facebook Insights will really tell you where it will really give you a good idea of where you probably should be. They'll give you a really good idea of how frequently you want to post. That's what I'm trying to say. Create an editorial calendar. It's always a good idea to plan out in advance where you want to be. For example, that product promotion next month. Editorial calendar will be really helpful. Maybe you want to do 5 tweets a day leading up to this promotion that is happening. Maybe you want to plan out your editorial calendar a week in advance, a month in advance, or 3 months in advance. Sketch it all in. It just takes a lot of the burden off. And if you have downloaded something like Hootsuite, where you can schedule everything in from a CSV document, all the better. It just takes a lot of the ideas and it keeps everything together and a lot of the pressure off you. Number 7, budget and resources, because everything costs money, right? Look at the tactics you've chosen and achieve your business goals to achieve them and also your objectives as well. Because it could be, for example, if you want to do an ad campaign and you want to have a graphic designer do that for you, that's going to cost money. Even purchasing software, that's a budget item. Maybe MailChimp, that's a monthly fee. Same with landing pages. Lead pages are on bounce. Things you'll need to break down everything per your social media channel, perhaps, or if you want to do your advertising costs, you want to make sure that that is all accounted for. Your budget may already be set, so be cognizant of that. Perhaps you have a little bit of wiggle room to play there. Invest in, so depending on your budget will depend, of course, on what you want to do. But it's a really good idea to have a wish list as well because the next time budget season comes around and you're doing your homework and your research, look at that little bit of a wish list that you had been putting together throughout the year and put that dollar signs into your next budget and see where that takes you. Assign roles. You want to have some people helping you out here. And this is just an example of perhaps it's graphic design or your video. Maybe you'll want to outsource that. Kevin and John can perhaps take care of those things, or maybe they're really strong in video and graphic design and they're in house. All the better. There goes some budget savings right there. Social media management. You want to maybe have Sarah making sure that all the tweets and the Facebook posts are being typed in, being managed, making sure that she's checking through on things. And the thing about social media, it's also an evening and a weekend job as well. So social media management, perhaps were places where I've worked before, we took turns on weekends. Who was going to be taking care of monitoring the social media channels? It could be broken up and shared by a few people, or it could be just one person. That's a conversation you need to have. Advertising, break that out with somebody else. Maybe Deb will take care of that, making sure everything is booked up. She's monitoring how the ads are going and tweaking along as she goes. The social referral program and the influencers, that's a really good area where sales could be because the sales department typically has a good idea of who the really strong people are, who's buying over and over and over again. They are great influencers who are probably really great cheerleaders for your brand. Make sure that if you had a social referral program, that would really help. And social customer service. Megan might be working there. She's on the front line. She knows a lot of the frequently asked questions. She'll probably be a really great hand to Sarah in case somebody asks a really tricky question. Megan could probably help her with that. So if you assign some roles, people have a really good understanding in advance of how they can help, and it relieves some of the pressure. Now, with all of these things in hand, it's a super idea to have a social media policy. I'm a big fan of this because if you're going to be having a lot of people involved in this space, it just makes it easier on everybody. Everybody has a clear understanding of their roles, but also organization and company wide. Everybody knows the playing ground, and it keeps everybody safe because if anything happened, everybody knows in advance what's expected. So, today, in summary, identify your business goals. You probably have a really good idea of what those business goals are. So, based on with your marketing objectives, will support those business goals and making them achievable. Identify your ideal customer, research your competition, choose your channels and tactics, have a good idea of where you want to be and nail those couple of channels you're going to focus on, create a content strategy, know what you're going to say, allocate your budget and resources. You want to make sure where your money is spent and assign roles to help out because it can be a big task. So download my one-page cheat sheet. It's on my website, sociablemedia.co/bonuses. Thanks for your time. If you have any questions, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm always at my computer. Please sign up for my email, my e-newsletter. I have a lot of wonderful tips and tips and tricks that come out to you. I'm happy to share with you. And of course, I'm always found on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. There's even LinkedIn and Pinterest as well. Find me there, connect with me there. I can't wait to chat with you next. Have a great day.